What's going on, my fantasy footballers? This is your commish speaking, and here we are for week 4, or the beginning of week 4. Looks like it's a tight race on our leaderboard, and well, there's 6 teams at 1 and 2, and one team is just proving that they are just dominating the league this year, and that is a team of Tim Tebow, made up by Muvan or Mehul and Bavin. So whatever you guys want to call it, whether it's the Bobby Luck or whatever, got to give them credit for putting together an awesome team this year, and I'm happy for Bobby for earning his money. Almost got all of his investment back. So hopefully he will stay happy throughout the year, and also keep talking shit on the WhatsApp messaging, because I definitely made me laugh when you said the burger's coming for JK's French fries. That was kind of funny. So, but the top, like I said, is we have our top 4 teams right now with Tim Tebow with 4-0 record, and then you have, I believe you have Chuck Day, Blue Thunder, and SBC. Man, you got to change that name. It's getting me confused with my SCB. So that rounds out your top 4, but some teams, I don't know how long that's going to last, because some teams are getting weaker by the week, whether it's injuries or just performances or offenses, play calling, whatever it is. I do sense that there's going to be some of those 1 and 2 teams will be moving up the leaderboard and jumping over a few of them. So early season so far. It's early in the season so far, but it's exciting, fun, and hopefully all of you guys are having fun this year. And let's keep it rolling. So let's do a recap of last week. First match was with my team, Steel City Bombers, against Chuck Day NFL. And basically, all I can say, this victory, I got to give it to Chuck Day's running backs. These 3 guys basically put up, 20 plus points. I think they scored the highest of all the running back combos on any team this year. But LeGarrette Blunt, Todd Gurley got going. And then, of course, who was the other guy? Well, it kind of slips my mind right now. But with all 3 of his running backs scoring 5 TDs, that's pretty impressive. When we don't have some teams even scoring 5 touchdowns for the whole team. So 3 guys scoring a total of 5 TDs, that's pretty good. And again, the bromance has begun. Jordy Gordy Nelson and A-Rod have started hooking up again. Poor A-Rod, he missed Jordy last year. He wasn't getting the love down underneath, because Jordy wasn't present in the locker room. So this year he's back, and A-Rod and Jordy are at it. So keep up the good work. Poor Randall Cobb is the guy, the black dude who's getting left out this year. So sorry about that. I saw that he was dropped this week by LTTO, I believe. So poor guy. In a white man's world, sometimes black people just don't fit. So, but once again, Chuck Day, they won this week pretty handily, 129, I believe 102. It was just too much of those running backs. And then, my team, they put up not a bad effort. I think it was the 5th highest scoring team this week, or this past week, and I owe it to Marvin Starvin Jones. This guy's been starving for looks and touches, played behind AJ Green in Cincinnati, and now he's got his chance. And guess what? The Lions are actually renaming Marvin Jones and has a new jersey created that says Calvin Who, and Who is spelled H-U, because he does look a little Asian. So that's his new name from now on. It's Calvin Who. We are not going to call him Marvin Jones anymore. So Calvin Who put up some big numbers, and he was waiting and finally broke out this week. But thanks to you, man, I had a respectable score. Otherwise, the team didn't do too well. Philip wasn't no show. So Let's see. Moving on. Well, hopefully this week Gronk is a show because last week he was just a decoy and didn't really play many snaps. So hopefully Gronk is full 100% this week so we can get that action going. I need Tom Brady to come back so I can start my own bromance on my team. With A-Rod and Jordy kind of style. So, but let's move on. The next match was with Thor and SBC, which is Steel Boys Crew. This match was probably it was pretty close, but Thor. It looks like he's losing a lot of his power. Thor. I don't know if you saw the movie Thor, when Thor goes to Earth and becomes mortal, and he loses his hammer, and he's helpless, and he's got all these big muscles, but he just can't do anything. He's not the Thor we expect. So that's what I think right now. Thor's manager feels like he feels a little helpless. He's struck with a bunch of injuries. Then you have AJ Green, his top wide receiver, who I know he really didn't want to draft, but he got him and was happy he exploded in week 1. But then in week 2, week 3, doesn't do jack. Thursday night he'll be playing again. If he doesn't do anything anymore, I think Thor is going to get really frustrated and probably want to trade that guy. So Thor, like I said, AJ Green's not the only guy underperforming. David Carr, he's very inconsistent. He's up and down kind of guy. So, and then you have, injuries. Langford, who wasn't really doing much anyway. I think he was probably out the door and probably looking for the bench. The coaches are going to just, they were looking for a reason to put this guy on the bench. And his high ankle sprain, which I've seen people come back from in a week, but these guys already sent out the news that he'll be out 4 to 6 weeks because they don't want any part of him. So good for me, though, because I have the new guy, the rookie, Jordan Howard. So good for me. But all in all, it was a bad week for Thor. And, he hopes to get back on track this week starting Thursday night. And, I've noticed also that as Trevor Siemian is, becoming more comfortable passing the ball, C.J. Anderson is kind of lacking. So if Siemian rises, Anderson kind of goes down. So that's something to really look out for there, Thor. If that correlates again this week, then, you might be, C.J. Anderson might not be the back that we hoped he would be the whole season. So, and SBC, wasn't a great week at all, but he was helped by none other than Gobi Manchurian. Gobi Manchurian comes through for him on Monday Night Football when he needed about 6 points. I think he scored, he was the highest scoring tight end for the week. So kudos to Gobi Manchurian. Hopefully the Saints have found a Jimmy Graham kind of replacement. And, they can utilize Gobi's height. I think he's, huge, dude. Use him. So, but the Saints have their own issues. They're 0-3. Gobi could help them out. So, good for SBC. Good other things that he did was basically benched Total Junk Yeldon. So, TJ, as you guys know, in the media, he's called Total Junk Yeldon. The name is fitting because the guy didn't do shit. He just sucked. So I know this week, noticing all the projections, and projections you can't really take them too seriously, but Yahoo is projecting SBC with the highest score for the week for week 4, and a lot of that is due to our very own Mr. Guntero, or Mr. Gunto, whatever you want to call him. But Mr. Le'Veon Bell will make his debut for this season. And for one, I am looking forward to that. And I'm sure SBC, Steel Boys Crew managers also looking forward to that. So good luck to you, Lev. Let's move on. This week I actually took some notes. Usually I just wing it, but I wanted to be a little bit more educated about what I was saying, so I took some notes. So if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. So third matchup was between the Gurus and the team formerly known as the Trump Squad. I've been telling this guy, change your freaking name, and as he finally did, and did not disassociated himself from Trump. Trump Squad, I believe, by Monday night, by the time the debate even started, before Monday even rolled around, Trump Squad, or should I say, the Brown Man Group, had already sealed the victory. So, congratulations to you. The name change, it helps. You could ask the Avengers boy, who keeps changing a bunch of names that one season. So the name change, sometimes it does help, because you do not want to associate yourself with that dumb Trump. So good job to him. KCD, I mean, what can I say? I've never seen a defense score 37 points. That is freaking insane. So that's obviously that cannot be kept up, especially this week against Pittsburgh. 37 is unreasonable, so you definitely need to get some offense from somewhere. Shady McCoy definitely helped, but yeah, you're probably gonna need some more, because if you take if you take 20 points out of KC's D and give them 17, a defense usually averages around 12, let's say. So 37 minus 12, that's 27 points. You take that out of your 129 score that you scored, you're at 102. So think about that. You do need some offense. Kelvin Benjamin didn't help you, got 0 points. But I know you can do better, especially with the new name change, the Brown Man Group. But I can't believe how bad the freaking Jets are. 6 interceptions and 2 of those into touchdowns. That's a come on, man. So Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think he got a franchise tag or whatever. I don't know what the hell he's making. I know he's making like millions of dollars, and this is the kind of junk you produce out in the field. 6 freaking picks. You're hurting the value of Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, Matt Forte, who Stewie played and got jacked. So but anyway, you just you can't do that. And the Guru, they lost. They went reverting back to his old ways of maybe starting off with the victory and then losing 2. So he's back down to 1-2, I believe. Yes, he is. But he's scoring. He's got more points than a lot of teams, total points. So he's ranked higher. But Scam Newton, just not playing the way he did, and whether it's the offensive line or just not making better decisions or whatever it is, this is kind of what worries me about Scam, and this is kind of what worried me about him last year and what made me drop that fool. Obviously, this year my ears are open, so if you do want to trade that guy, definitely let me know, because I need a quarterback, and I will trade you some good running backs for him. So. But all in all, not a good week. Obviously he lost this week, so better luck this time. But I can't wish him too much luck, because he's playing against my team, and right now the projections show us pretty neck and neck. As it shows, pretty much a lot of teams are neck and neck, except I think Tim Tebow's kind of beating up on somebody. But regardless, good luck to you. As Scam goes, your team goes. I think Carlos Hyde, you may have not played, but maybe should have played. And I think that could be something that I had mentioned last week, that he's junk. And I did not expect him to play the way he did, but kudos to him. He played well. So let's go on. And this was the biggest blowout of the week. This was LTTO versus Tim Tebow. And Tim Tebow put a smackdown on LTTO. But to LTTO's credit, he called it. He knew this was coming, and so he was kind of prepared. He had put some extra padding down there, so when Tim Tebow smacked him down, it didn't hurt so much. So, but overall, I mean, Tim Tebow, looking at the stats, he had 6 players that scored over 20 points. Out of 9 that you start, 6 players that scored over 20 points. That's just insane, right? I mean, if you don't win that week, then wow, that kudos to that other team. And if he would have listened to Bobby and played Minnesota defense, well, that would have been 7 players over 20 points, or 7 positional, players to over 20 points. So this could have been a bigger blowout, but they played Arizona. Arizona, fared okay. They got their own turnovers and whatnot. But Tim Tebow's team is just rocking right now, and all good things come to an end. There will be times when on paper, or he just looks great, but something will happen and they just won't perform, like a lot of our teams, right? I mean, we all of our teams look good on paper, and it just comes down to it, and we perform like 70 points. So it happens. So be prepared for that, Tim Tebow. But you do have Tim Tebow playing baseball now, so the man of God is playing baseball, and he hit a home run at his first at bat. So this guy, long as when we talk about names, this is a name you definitely want to keep. Or you may just want to call it Team Bobby, because Bobby seems to be a good luck charm, and ever since he's come onto the scene, you've won 2 weeklies already. 2 weekly prizes, whereas the last however many years you haven't even made it to the playoffs, I don't think. So credit to your partner there, and you have been giving him credit, so good job. But A-Rod, this guy, as much as you count him out and the media counts him out, he when you do that, he starts playing with a chip on his shoulder, and that chip basically stays on his shoulder the whole damn season, and then he goes off. So you definitely want the media talking shit about him, because you're just gonna throw 4 touchdowns every week. T.Y. Hilton, he wasn't doing much, and then bam, rescues you, as well as SBC, and scores whatever that was, like a 72-yard touchdown or some crazy shit like that. So the luck, if you want to call it the Bobby luck, or you guys, your players are all right. These are the same players that played last season and didn't do shit, but they're doing great this year. So whatever it is, I know we talk about luck in this league, and the luck is with you, or we'll call it the force. The force is with your team this year, and they keep scoring, and your lead with total overall points is just getting too big. So we definitely need to put the brakes on a little bit. So just anyway. So but LTTO, these guys, they just had no chance. LTTO, they won last week, but this is out of 3 weeks now. They've gotten the medal, if there is a medal, for getting blown out, the biggest blowout, twice now. So he's got a lot of injured players on his bench, on his team, and not many people did anything, right? You had your QB who scored 3 points. I warned you about Carson Palmer. The guy's old. Larry Fitzgerald's another guy. This guy, they're all going to go downhill. They will not stay at the rate or the pace that they're going right now. That pace will slow down, and it will affect you. You do need a consistent quarterback who has arm strength and can last a whole freaking year. And Larry Fitzgerald, he starts off great. He will, once again, I know these two guys. I've had them on my teams. He will slow down. So definitely you and Stewie both need to really think hard about that and go after younger players that can help your team throughout the season. But the kicker scored 0 for you on Thursday night. That Thursday night game was horrible. I wish I could erase that from my mind, but unfortunately I can't. But all in all, it's obviously the season is not lost for anybody. You discover that Devontae Freeman is a beast. He was running like a freaking deer out there. I've always dogged Devontae Freeman, but when I saw that Monday night game, man, that guy is quick. You won't get to play New Orleans every week, but he's just, I think Atlanta is putting an emphasis on the run, so hopefully that, and with the addition of Jimmy Graham Cracker scored his 100-yard game in a touchdown, which was pretty enlightening, and it was kind of happy to see him get back on track, because the guy just hasn't done well since he left New Orleans. He's got injured, just hasn't been part of the game plan. Hopefully Pete Carroll has finally found something where he can start utilizing start utilizing Jimmy Graham a lot more, help out Russell Wilson where he doesn't have to take those hits. But good find. I think a lot of people wanted to pick him up. It was that last split-minute decision that you actually did pick him up. Even I was about to drop Julius Thomas at 11:30 a.m. on Sunday just to stash Jimmy Graham on my bench, and I just didn't pull the trigger. So kudos to you with Devontae Freeman and Jimmy Graham. Hopefully, like I said, you got those two studs, and they keep continuing performing, and you can get out of this rut and really start scoring some points. So finally, I think we got one more matchup, and this was Stewie the Devil against Fortis Air. So Stewie was able to eke out a win against Fortis Air. Stewie needed everything. I mean, he was praying, and I think he said he couldn't shit all of Monday night because when Drew Brees was making that last drive and about to score a touchdown, Fortis Air needed 6 points, and he gets the win. And what happens? Drew Brees throws a pick, loses the game, and Stewie wins. So Stewie is he's been making some coaching mistakes. Last week I think it was Forte, Brandon Marshall. This week he played Forte, and Forte sucked. But he does have a beauty in Christine Michael. D'Angelo unfortunately will take a back seat to Mr. Gunto, and he needs to find a replacement for him. I got Lacey for you, son. I know you want him. So anyway, Stewie avoids an 0-3 loss, and so congrats to him to getting his first win. And Fortis Air, like I mentioned to you, I think the last episode was, I don't know what the name means, but the air is coming out slowly but surely. The air is coming out of his sails, and he just doesn't have any running backs, right? This guy could use maybe he could use Lacey. But he needs some running backs to really help him out. Frank Gore and Justin Forsett. These guys aren't good. Just another piece of advice for you. These guys are not good. You need to go get or trade for a running back, and you may have to give up, one of your other better players. I told you once again, you cannot just hog 2 quarterbacks. They're worthless. They're useless. They can only help on bye weeks, but there's people on the bench or in free agency that you can just plug and play on those bye weeks. It's just a waste of a roster spot. But you live and you learn. It's your first season, rookie, so you learn. You'll get better at this. But again, my advice to you is go get a running back, trade with someone, even if it has to be a blockbuster trade. Do it. Hey, I'm always open for trade. I got a bunch of running backs now, so hit me up. So anyhow, that's about it. That's all I have really. For this week. Like I said, this season is fun, exciting. New teams are rising to the top. Chuck this seems to be there all the time, and then just kind of just doesn't make the playoffs or loses in playoffs. Blue Thunder is doing well, has 1-2, but tides could be turning there. Steel Boys crew, again, not very impressive victories, but things could be changing there with Le'Veon Bell back. The Brown Man group wins the first one, scoring a lot of points, but just facing some tough opponents at times. The Guru, once again, he's got over 300 total points. His team, I strongly believe, as Cam goes, the Guru's team goes. So Scam needs to get on it. The offensive line needs to protect him, or this fool just needs to run, get some yards by running, man. And then Light the Tower Orange, he's also got more than 300 points with the great, performance last week. But getting the biggest blowouts two times out of 3 weeks, that's not something to be happy about. He looks to get back on track this week, and hopefully he does. Fortis Air lost 2 now, and lost 2 in a row. Not looking good. Need running backs, otherwise you're just going to keep losing. Steel City Bombers, hopefully my fortunes are turning, where Gronk can play at 100%. Got good running back in Jordan Howard. Hopefully that guy can play. And getting some receivers back. Hopefully Josh Gordon, after this one more week after this week, actually, he comes back and he can play up to the hype of Josh Gordon and even Sammy Watkins. Hopefully his foot gets better, and then I'll have extra receivers that I'll be looking to trade. And then Stewie the Devil, gets his first victory. And Stewie, I don't know. You're playing the team of God, or the team of the Son of God versus the Devil. So I think I'm gonna go with God on this one. And good luck to you. All right, guys. Well, it is Wednesday, and tomorrow is Thursday Night Football. I don't have anybody playing. I'm going to be relaxing, watching the game. But the guys that do have someone playing, get to your local mandir, pray and hope, and get off to a good start. Peace!